What's up, everybody? This is Serge with Stranded South Music. I'm about to do a deep dive into the rewriting process pertaining to the chorus of the new single Ghosts of a Ghost Town featuring New Orleans singer Sean Williams. So if you're a musician, a poet, a writer, an artist out there, take a seat and enjoy the video, and perhaps you might get a couple of good ideas that you can implement in your own writing process. So like we've said before, the chorus is supposed to reinforce the conceit of the song, the main message. And a chorus is supposed to move forward the storyline laid out by the verses. Hopefully you know a little bit more about the subject of the story at verse 2 than you did at verse 1, and hopefully the chorus can help you out. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and give a listen to one of the first demos of the chorus of Ghosts of a Ghost Town. Early demo.
Sing it all together like it's carnival time. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. My body's shaking, the sun is breaking over the moon to this last round. And round we go like a carousel ride. Let's break on through to the other side. The world is shaking, the levee aching. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town.
As you can see and hear, the chorus ends with the hook, "I'm just a ghost of this ghost town," which is basically the title of the song. This is pretty standard. It's not a constant, but a lot of times the hooks at the end of the choruses are in fact the titles of the song. Now obviously, this being one of the first demos of the song, this chorus is incredibly different than the end result of the song. I have yet to implement some of the sort of rules that I go by and that I've done videos about beforehand, and I will post links and I will post cards of those specific rules. Now let's dig in here a little bit and see how I went from having this pretty bland, not a very good sounding chorus, and how we implemented a few of the rules that I've done videos about beforehand, kind of the rules that I go by when I'm into my writing process, and how I cut away what's not needed, and how I try to leave myself with catchy, hookish, lean, melodic, and memorable, singable lyrics and lines. Let's
sing it all together like it's carnival time. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town.
Start from the get-go. Sing it all together like it's carnival time. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. I think out of this whole thing, these are the two lines that are being kept. These are winners in my book. They set the stage. They create a setting somewhat. Sing it all together like it's carnival time. Carnival time. Well, a party or a festive setting. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. Now, this might be indicative of a party in a city like New Orleans, and that's basically where I'm from and where I'm writing this and where this song is set. And so these are keepers. We're keeping these. These are great. Now, we just got done talking a little about the opening lines of this chorus, and we're keeping them. Let's look at the second set of lines and see if we could strengthen them to make the storyline move forward, or to reinforce the idea of this song. The second set, "My body's shaking, the sun is breaking over the moon to this last round." Now these are pretty bland. They don't really make much sense. I'd be confused if I was listening as a listener. And so what did I eventually do? Now we don't have to work in a linear mode here. We can work upside down if we have to. Over the moon to this last round. Eventually, I would go to simply repeat the title of the song. So I would take this out and I would repeat as I did at the end of this chorus. I would simply repeat it up here.
The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town.
I'm just a ghost of this ghost town. And that would repeat the conceit of the song. That would reinforce the storyline. Sometimes you don't need to add lyrics. Sometimes you just need to rearrange them, and sometimes you simply just need to repeat them. Songs are very repetitive. The more times they repeat something, the more times you're going to remember it. It's simple advertising. Now, how did we change this third line? Instead of my body shaking, the sun is breaking, I would simply go to the latter part of this and steal the world is shaken. So it would end up being the world is shaken, but the sun is breaking. Now this clever rearrangement of words would be crucial because not only does it promote a hopeful nature, but while promoting a hopeful nature, it's reminding us that our setting is somewhere that perhaps needs hope. And that in itself is reminding us of the setting that we're in. In this case, it could be interpreted as an apocalyptic one. The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. And from there, I'm just a ghost of this ghost town. And because of the way I changed the intonation of the word breaking, it would really make the hook even more catchy, hit harder, be more memorable.
My body's shaking, the sun is breaking over the moon to this last round. The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town.
Okay, y'all, so at this point, we've created a pretty strong first half of our chorus. We've borrowed from elements of the second half in order to reinforce the first half. We've rearranged a few lines. Maybe we've added a few clever sentences that really gives a strong impression to the listener of what is going on, what's our subject's dilemma, what's their scenario, what is a possible answer to their problem. Keep in mind, you pick one segment of your song, you concentrate, and you bring that segment of your song from a 6 out of 10 up to a 7 or an 8 out of 10, and that's going to give you the momentum and the encouragement you need to revisit every other aspect of your song and bring it that much higher up to snuff, so you can create the best possible production that you're capable of at this moment. You focus on one area, you do your best, and then you hit the next piece of the puzzle. Now let's move on to the second half of our chorus, to Ghosts of a Ghost Town, and how we took our bland, dismal demo. We implemented a few rules from Stranded South Writing, and we turned it into a pretty good, solid sounding, catchy chorus.
Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee. Turn round, we'll spin this road stand. And in the morning, pay for my crown. You're just a ghost of this ghost town. And round we go like a carousel ride. Let's break on through to the other side. The world is shaking, the levee aching. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town. Ghost of a ghost of a ghost of this ghost town.
Now this is coming after the first half. The first half, of course, was sing it all together like it's carnival time. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town. That's the first half. The second half, and round we go like a carousel ride. Let's break on through to the other side. Initially, I kind of dug the Doors reference. I kind of dug the imagery of the carousel, and it wasn't bad. But I inevitably went and started fishing through some of my older notebooks, some of my older songs, revisiting some older melodic ideas that I had that were never really fleshed out in the past. And I'll include a card right there from an older demo of a song of mine that would eventually help me to revise this chorus and really turn it into something great. And that demo is about 12 years old. So you never know when an older idea is gonna pop out the woodwork and be just right and just perfect for helping you in that moment. So go fishing through your old notebooks if you're at a impasse, I think is the word. Sleep on it, because when you're deep in the writing process, when you've got all these melodies going through your head, there is nothing like a few good nights sleep to let your mind clear, to let your dreams do their thing, and to let the best part of those melodies that are just like, raging through your subconscious come to the surface and really just like stick their necks out and say, hey. But on top of going through some of your older ideas, on top of focusing on some melodies that you might have going on in your head, what I did for the second half of this chorus, and this is I wouldn't call it a rule, but it's a technique that I personally like to utilize in my own writing, and that is to juxtapose more poetic lines and ideas with straightforward, concrete lines, reminding the audience what is going on without any fancy poetic language. And that's why the first line of the second half, this chorus, would eventually go from "and round we go like a carousel ride." I would change that to "Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee." Now, regardless of what has been said previously in this song, I don't think anybody is going to have any kind of trouble interpreting what it is the subject of the song is trying to express with "Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee." And sometimes you need to hit your audience. In my opinion, you just need to hit them with the straight truth, without any metaphors, without any poetry, with stone cold rhythm and blues. "Darlin, come home." That's my opinion. Let's go ahead. "Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee. Turn round, we'll spin this road steady.
Darling, come home, there's rain on the levee. Turn round, we'll spin this road steady."
We are going to implement a much higher note for the words road steady, because not only does the audience need a reminder sometimes with concrete, straightforward language of what's going on, they need musical reminders that, hey, pay attention to me. This is what's going on. Listen to how I'm singing these words compared to how I've been singing it. I can go, a little further if you'll just stick with me. "Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee. On the levee. Turn round, we'll spin this road steady." Things are being sung differently. There's sort of a roller coaster ride of the melody going on right now. It's not quite as bland and sort of monotone as it was in the demo. We are sort of on our way to hitting the hook of the chorus in a really nice, fluid, an expressive and memorable way. "Turn round, we'll spin this road steady." And the line before the hook, we kind of want to bring it on home. And so instead of what we had previously, which was pretty bland, the world is shaking, the levee aching, we moved around those words like I said earlier. We went ahead and went with "and in the morning, pay for my crown, You're just a ghost of this ghost town.
It's the ghost of a ghost of a ghost of this ghost town. Sing it all together like it's carnival time. No familiar faces on the streetcar line. The world is shaking, but the sun is breaking. I'm just a ghost of this ghost town. Darlin, come home, there's rain on the levee. Turn round, we'll spin this road and in the morning, pay for my crown. You're just a ghost of this ghost town. You're just a ghost of a ghost of a ghost of this ghost town.
Now, I've just spent a few minutes summarizing to you how it is that I go about rewriting my music, my songs, my choruses. My summarization is a summation of something that took me days, weeks, and like I said, it could have been even years, it could have been a decade. But if you take the time and you focus on one segment of your song and you bring that segment to the highest point you could really bring it in terms of production value, in terms of lyricism, in terms of everything, it is going to force you to revisit every other segment of your song and bring those segments up to the same level. And that is simply going to bring your music in general to a level that you never really thought it would reach. So thanks for listening and good luck writing out there. Feel free to take a look at some of our older videos, some older ideas, some older tutorials in the tutorial section of Stranded South Music. And go check out the new single Ghosts of a Ghost Town by Serge Villanova featuring Sean Williams.
As the ghost of a ghost of a ghost of this ghost.
I used to walk these streets at night, singing and dancing till the morning light. But too much living in the city's got me down. I'm leaving you again.